Hey YouTube, it has been a while and I will explain why I haven't been posting any videos, doing many updates at the end of this short video in case you want to know, and if you're not interested as to why, then I will not waste any more of your time. Anyways, I have been working on stuff in the background just very slowly. So before I even started testing, when the stress test first came out for stress testers, I was watching a bunch of people's streams and I actually managed to capture some data while doing some basic tests. This was the initial thing that I posted on the official Discord. Some of you may recognize this little chunk of data here, which was basically comparing the new galley stamina with the with what we used to have, right? The old one. And I found out that it was actually better with the new one than it was for the old one when you factored out the minus 25% stamina drain. Galley players were very good for gathering data off of, due to the fact that they actually recovered stamina pretty slowly. So that was quite useful. I did some independent tests with Raptor, and none of this really matters, but it's just to show what the initial ideas. Oh, cool. Let me just mess up my own graphs. Who cares? It's not as if anyone's going to be watching this. Anyways, please work. I beg you. Thank you. What a nice little. I'm going to kill myself. Anyways, cool. Next, we started looking into bleed theory. None of these numbers matter to you. We did have someone who independently researched some raptor bleed, and unfortunately I haven't been able to make a video about it yet, but I will eventually get around to it. But we decided to do some theoretical tests, and we found out this was actually before the stress test even came out, by the way. I was doing a lot of stuff. So, yeah, if complications hadn't have happened, I probably would have been done by now, but I'm not. And what I did basically, let me just put this back into I'm so used to not actually recording anything that I've completely butchered everything. I apologize deeply. I know. I've never really been known for good quality videos anyway, so what I took here was the original Raptor bleed things, and I worked out an average tick. This is just an average. What this basically means as an average is the issue that when you drop something below locked health, you do 25% extra bleed. And the lower a dinosaur's bleed is, the more bleed you will do to them. Furthermore, during a fight, you'll be losing food and water, which will increase the ticks by tiny amounts, unless of course the fight gets drawn out for years and years, in which case it will be a more substantial amount. For example, having 0 water adds plus 30 seconds to your bleed timer. Having 0 food adds 15 seconds to your bleed timer. Having 0 stamina adds 10 seconds to your bleed timer. We are fairly sure those numbers are still correct, but we will get around to it. So what I did was I took the average bleed, as you can see here, and then I just extrapolated the data, assuming that tap pounce would be removed, which it was, and I got these numbers here. We then took the total duration that you can pounce for now, which is 48 seconds, and then we got these numbers here, which are absolutely disgusting numbers, really, when you start to consider it. And then we just added in the coefficients for walking, walking, and running to get these numbers here. These coefficients could have changed. I haven't got around to doing it. Just bear with me. We also then calculate the amount of stamina you need per thing. But these graphs will be much better. And what we found in our initial play fight testing, just to get various ideas of balance changes, was that these numbers were roughly correct, which they should be roughly correct. This method should be roughly correct. So effectively, what any of you guys could do is look through my old Raptor videos, write down the numbers for the bleed timer, work out an average, and then just extrapolate outwards. Because I've also had videos where I talk about bleed coefficients and how to calculate bleed stuff. So yes, so those of you who are very smart in this community could actually do my job for me and take all of the credit. So have fun with that. We then ended up, obviously you put the data into graphs, and what you end up with is very nice graphs. Black obviously is death. Green is less death. Blue is, you guys get the picture. Anyways, you know, the black line is the most important one, because if you're running and you're bleeding, this is the line that really matters to you. It basically says how quickly you are going to die, which most of the time is very quickly. For example, at 50, to get to 50% of your bleed total, we go across here, bang, that's about 34 seconds, which means you get pounced for 34, that's actually 34% of the raptor. So actually you go here and you go, that is 34%. That's 18 seconds of pounce. Yeah, you get pounce for 18 seconds by 2 raptors and you start running as a 10er, you are dead. Have fun. Yeah. But these numbers don't really matter. They were just here for us to basically do basic stuff. Obviously, I then set up the initial table for raptor bleed versus certain dinosaurs. We then never really got too far into this, as I'll explain later, but this is just a overall channel update. I have been working on stuff. Into the new data. Stamina. Cool. I wanted to make a really, really cool overlay for this, which I will be working on when I'm feeling a lot better. And these numbers will make a lot more sense, but I'll explain it briefly towards you guys. Let's take Raptor, for example. You've spawned in as a Raptor. These are all playable Juvie stamina, drains, and runtimes. The thing with Juvies that you really want to do isn't to look at how fast you regen your stam, because your stam regens quicker as a Juvie. It is instead how far you can travel as a Juvie, especially on Gateway. That's very, very important. If you know just about how far you can travel, and I will eventually be posting a picture of the map with all of these distances plotted from 0, 0, with like a circle with different colors, with a little picture of the dinosaur transparent into the color. That will then show you like a radius of where you could travel with that Juvie dinosaur spawning from 0, 0. So you have a rough idea of how far you can travel in your entire stamina bar, which isn't too helpful, but it could definitely help down the line, especially if they make the migration system a bit more complex, which I'm hoping for, but we won't get into that. So basically here what we see is that I basically worked out the 5-second, 10-second, 15-second rate to work out the stamina decay rates. That's all that we needed. And we got pretty consistent at doing this. As you can see, the numbers are very, very close, which shows that we were doing something right, which is good. I then used these rates to basically work out the total run time. Then we use that total run time multiplied by their speed. So Juvie Raptor is 25.1 kilometers an hour. We convert that into kilometers an hour, meters per second conversions. We then put that into the time, and then you get a distance, 9,296 meters ran, which will then look like something when the graph is complete, but it's not. But it gives you a rough idea. For example, a Beppy can travel 3,600, but a Raptor can travel 9,000. Very, very interesting. Oh, even though the Beppy can run pretty much just as long, right? In terms of time, if you look at this, it's basically like what, a minute difference in running time, but the distance is huge because you have to factor in their speed. You see, very, very interesting. It gives you more interesting data. You could, in theory, use this data on a fresh server to basically, you could do some weird stuff with this data. For example, you could, in theory, use this data alongside data of mapping out player where players like to go on the map, and then actually balance the game for Juvies around these numbers, right? So if you always notice that Raptors or whatever, and one thing I definitely noticed with Raptor is that with Juvie Raptor, by the time you actually get to a place where you can get food, you are often low on food and low on water. So now you have to drink, which then brings you low on food, and then you become desperate for food as a Juvie Raptor, especially as a lot of Juvies are scavenging. What you can effectively do is then start tweaking these numbers. But for Carno, it was very, very different. As you see here, the Carno's runtime isn't as long as the Raptors, right? However, the distance traveled is that's a big number. That's 15,000 meters. It travels an extra it travels an extra 600 meters in the same stamina bar. That's insane. That means that, say for example, you spawned a Raptor and a Carno in the exact same spawn point in Highlands. The Carno will reach Highlands first and have the opportunity to scavenge before the Raptor even gets there, which therefore means that the Carno can get perfect diet, which it can do, but by the time the Raptor even gets there, it's now got perfect diet. It is now growing faster. It means that this Juvie Carno now enters a fight with this Juvie Raptor. It effectively already has the ambush opportunity served to it on a silver platter, if that makes sense. So you could use this with a lot of tinkering to actually, kind of map what players are actually doing, which I think is really, really fascinating. One day I might attempt to do this, but I need to have my own server, which may or may not be a thing in the works. Who knows? I can't say anything. Anyways, let me get to the interesting one, which is the stamina for adults. a good friend of the channel, Jay, who has appeared in many videos, who probably will comment on this video, man, that Jay guy sounds really cool, because that's what he always does, did this initial table here, which a lot of people praised and called him a mad lad. While he was playing checkers, I was playing chess and working out the actual numbers to give you graphs that you can use at any percentage of stamina to basically work out how long you will go. Will anyone use this graph? No. No. Like, be realistic, you won't. Unless you're like me and you like memorizing numbers and actually getting to a point where you can be like, yeah, at this percentage, I have this much time. You could effectively then use this to work something out. These are all in seconds. Say, for example, you are playing, let's find, Raptor is this color, which should be here. Look at that. Bang, first try. Anyways, it's almost like I make the graph. Say, for example, you're a Raptor and you've used 75% of your stamina. So we go up from 75, we get here, we go across 150 seconds, right? For me to get to my full stamina from there would be this data point right here, which is around 175. So I know at 75% of my stamina as a Raptor, to get up to full by sitting, it will take me about 25 seconds. That's a useful piece of information that you can glean from this graph. But I like looking at this graph to basically see the weird wobbly lines that these dinosaurs do, and to effectively try and see if there are relationships between certain things with these dinosaurs. In terms of general use, Jay's graph is much better. Very, very good. Tells you the run time for each of the dinosaurs and the approximate resting time for the dinosaurs. We also found out that your standing and walking stamina regen is the exact same, and it is universal. I repeat, it is universal across all dinosaurs. It takes 7 minutes for all dinosaurs from 0 to 100. This number is affected by your tick rate becoming exponential. So, for example, to recover like the last 5% of a raptor's stamina, I briefly tested it before doing this video. It took like 16 seconds-ish. Towards the bottom, it takes about 21 seconds, like the first percent. So as a rule of thumb, for each dinosaur, roughly assume, to recover the first 5% stamina, it's about like, I don't know, it's weird, it's hard to, it's weird because I don't really understand it either myself. It's, because especially when you consider the stamina theory of the beginning, we were recovering 5% stamina in about 7 seconds, and then 13 and 13, 20 and 20 seconds. So it's, I don't know, it's up there. Maybe it was changed, maybe it wasn't changed. I don't know, I don't care. The main thing is standing and walking stamina, about 7 minutes from 0 to full. So just assume it takes about 20 seconds per 5% stam. It will be quicker than this, but as a rule of thumb, 20 seconds per 5% of stam when standing or walking. No, obviously we're sitting, this will be much faster. But this effectively is the first big graph that we have with data that I have accumulated. What we see here is a few interesting things. We take this line here, which is the, I wish it would tell me. Hipsy. I think this is Hipsy, and then it's Beppy here. Yeah, Hipsy and Beppy obviously are the quickest in terms of getting their stamina back. However, a very, very interesting thing to note. Not all dinosaurs' initial recovery is equal. In fact, as you see here with this line here, hopefully my mouse is showing up, you'll see that their line here pretty much coincides with what will eventually become the Dino line and the Galley line. It's very, very close to that. The difference is for these two is that the, actually no, Galley is actually a lot faster here. So it's pretty much the Dino line. They're actually slower than Dino for the initial 5% of stamina. But after that, it's just a rapid increase. It just pretty much flattens out instantaneously. There's a very quick initial and then bang. So effectively what it seems to be with these dinosaurs and what it seems to actually happen is, in terms of the exponential growth, is that there is a set percentage where the graph levels out. So take this dinosaur, for example, which should be Cerrado. You see that the leveling out happens right here. So this line here is this line here for the Beppy and Dryo. It just levels out. Bang, straight line. The Cerrado takes a lot longer. You reach 20, 25% stam, and then bang, all the way to the top. Same thing with Carno. We can also notice certain things with the herbivores and carnivore differences. Trudon's an interesting case. We'll get to that. But we look at Paki, and it should be Tenno right behind Paki, I'm fairly sure. If I can actually select the data. No, that's Dryo. Where's Tenno again? No, wait, that's Tenno. That's Beppy. This is Hipsy. Dryo. Paki. Dryo. Tenno. Yes, there you go. That's a big one. Tenno Nomi. As you see here with Tenno and then the Raptor, Tenno actually regains its stamina sitting down a lot faster than the carnivores, right? The exception being, of course, the ever-present, I hate having to do this, the ever-present Trudon. You know, but even then, it finishes its full stamina faster than Trudon does. Effectively, what it means that for Paki, for a lot of the herbivores, apart from Stego, which should be here, even Stego, actually, basically all of the herbivores effectively reach their critical percentage of stamina regen faster than the carnivores do. Meaning that if you are being pursued by a carnivore as a herbivore and you choose to run away the second the fight starts, you should, in theory, escape them. The reason being is that you've already gotten a head start. They are catching up to you. Whenever you choose to sit, they'll be looking for you. And you'll be getting to that point of stamina recovery faster than they will, right? Which means that as long as you are able to continuously run and sit as the herbivore, whenever the carnivore goes to sit or whenever you lose sight of them, you will pretty much always kind of get out because you're just recovering your stamina far. Like you take, for example, Paki and then Raptor. You know, Raptor's bang all the way here. Paki's all the way over here. That's a huge difference. That's a difference of 175 and 100. That's a difference of 75 seconds to get up to full stam. That's mad. 75 seconds. You're being chased by a Raptor as a Paki. As long as you get the head start and you bolt it, the second both of you have to sit down to recover your stamina, you are out of there. 75 seconds faster. Obviously, the initial is a lot closer, right? But as time goes on, that, you know, the break between the dinosaurs increases. That's about it. I can't really tell you too many exciting things about stamina besides this is what stamina is like. But I can give you my quick overview of how I feel about the stamina system before, of course, I get all of the big videos out of the way and the channel can actually enter into the next period of its growth, right? So, my counter thing is that I like the idea of the stamina system. I believe that it is not the stamina system that needs to be tweaked or changed or removed, but it is certain numbers that have to be viewed in the ecosystem of the game and be changed, right? And this could even be complete rework for certain dinosaurs, which I believe one dinosaur deserves a complete rework. I'll get onto that. But overall, I like the system. It is a system that rewards careful stamina management and works very, very well. It effectively means that if you are a player who panics, loses their cool, runs away, but you face opponents who are ready to tail you down. In fact, I've had situations while playing the game as Raptor with Jay and the rest of the boys, in which we, you know, find a Tenno, we start the fight, the Tenno runs, and sometimes we just walk after them, you know, because we will eventually catch up to them, just by walking, as long as we keep tracking them. And it's interesting. It actually makes a slow tracking more viable. This stamina system has made tracking more viable in general, in my opinion. Because the issue with the old tracking was that, I think I'm fairly sure I posted videos about this, is that you would enter a fight as a Raptor versus a Carno, for example. The Carno would run away, blitz it out of there, can't catch it. It would then sit down and recover its stamina like normal, and by the time you catch up to it, it just blitzes off again. And you just never catch it. And then the Carno's bleed disappears, and its footprints disappear, and then it's gone. It's gone forever. You've now lost that Carno kill. You would never kill that Carno. And that Carno can do who knows what to any other player. You know, it's a thing. I think that's a point that I never see anyone talking about on YouTube, which is the tracking system. I believe that this stamina system helps to fix the tracking system, because if they blow away all of their stamina and try to recover it, they won't recover it very quickly. You will catch up to them, you now have to fight. Now, of course, you may now be saying, oh, yeah, but like, I now run away from someone. How am I meant to get away from them? I can never get away from them. Well, you can. I also played Tenno. I mean, the first day of the public stress test, I grew a completely white Tenno. I'm fairly sure I streamed it as well, so you guys can see. I grew a completely white Tenno, and I survived on the first day. No, it was second day of the public stress test. I have a completely white Tenno. I did this multiple times throughout the entire thing, so I cannot be camouflaged because I'm completely white, and that was it. And I survived every encounter that I came across. It can be done. It basically just means that if you get ambushed, you then have to make the crucial decision, which is, do I run or do I fight? And, you know, stuff like that. Then you have to start considering things like herds and group sizes, and I can't be bothered for all of that, whatever. But I will talk about the biggest culprits of the stamina system that need a complete fucking change. That is being, where is he? Serrado, Carnotaurus. Kano needs to bugger off to a different fucking galaxy, right? 1 minute 50 seconds of runtime. Now, when we initially found out about this number, that Kano was given an additional 50 seconds of runtime, we were like, what the hell? That's a lot of runtime. Such a fast dinosaur. As you can see here with the Juvie stamina, how much a quicker runtime can do in terms of the distance traveled. And that's for Juvies. Right? The Amrock Kano is faster. So the distance it can travel is absolutely just a joke. It's an actual joke. And the fact that it recovers the stamina pretty much just as fast as a raptor is also a joke. It's just it's too much for the dinosaur. It really is. It is too much. In certain circumstances, it's not too bad. When you enter into a brawling fight with the Kano, that stamina goes by very, very quickly because you are constantly running in, running out, turning around, drifting, doing whatever. Fine. I'm perfectly fine with that. The big issue with that runtime is actually the charge. It is the fact that you are running, you have instant acceleration, you can run for a minute and a half, and at any point during that, you can charge, knock something over, and do like 60% of his health. Especially as we worked out a Kano tech, which will be covered in the future, where you can basically guarantee that your charge connects and you're able to get 2 head bites. Because currently, for most players, when you connect a charge, you just go straight through them and you have to turn around, drift, bite them. But with this system, you can actually then get the guaranteed 2 headshots at a Tenno and immediately bring it down to like 40 to 50% health, which is disgusting. And you can finish off the fight with bites. In fact, I've actually managed to fight a few of my friends' Serrados with Kano using just bites, pretty much. Using a drift tech, which I covered before, but is now actually useful. There's a lot of stuff I need to cover. I just don't have the strength to do it. What other things? To really wrap up some of my thoughts, a lot of people are complaining about Tenno. I do believe Tenno needs a buff and Kano needs a change, which I will cover. But Tenno is not helpless. In fact, a Tenno can actually kill a Kano quite effectively, unless of course, the Kano gets the jump on you. The Kano gets the jump on you, does the perfect ambush, 2 bites. It's very, very hard to win that fight. You have to run away. And the biggest way for a Tenno to run away is by crossing water, because the Kano cannot do that. The Kano is just too slow in the water and blows too much down. You will basically get away for free. Very important to note. Same thing with Serrado versus Kano. If the Serrado can reach water, it can escape. The issue is that the Tenno is a slight bit faster than Serrado, so it will reach the water before the Serrado can. So there's always that. Plus the Tenno has a jump, which means it can jump into the water to get a head start and a speed boost on the initial second or 2 of swimming. So it's a lot better. But a tip for Tenno players is do not play defensive versus Kanos. You play defensive versus Serrado, as Serrado is a brawler. You want to play very, very offensive versus Kano, and I will be covering that in the future, etc., etc. Another thing for Raptors, Raptors, stop tap pouncing. I know that I'm the tap pouncing guy. Tap pouncing is removed. Please stop it. It is killing me inside every time I play this game. That's about all. Now on to why have I not been posting videos? This is because, unfortunately, for somehow, oh, it's snowing outside. I can actually see it from the window. That's right. Yeah, I know, but I didn't know I could see it from the window. That's just very, very pretty.
You don't listen to me.
Okay, cool. So, but the reason is that somehow, for some reason, I've been having a lot of stomach and gastric issues, and I've been going to the doctor about this, and it could be a whole slew of things. But I've gone in for blood tests and examinations and have samples taken of me, etc., etc., etc. And I'll eventually find out what it is. But it effectively means that I have been having a lot of appetite. My moods have been very swingy. More so, I mean, I've always been somewhat schizophrenic in most of my videos, but this is like general just bad moods over like really, really small things. So eating's been a pain. Finishing the process of eating has been a pain. Once the food is in, it's a pain. So yeah, so far the only thing they found with my blood test is that my white blood cell count is lower than it should be. But we will see. It could be a whole manner of things, but hopefully I can get this sorted, get my strength back up, return back to work, and then sort this out. It's just been a whole slew of stuff. Very, very stressful. That's why videos haven't been coming out. Which is why I at least wanted to do this as just an initial sneak peek at what I've been working on whenever I have the strength to. And just letting you guys know that the channel hasn't been abandoned. I am working on stuff just slowly, and I will be back eventually. So, we also got new channel art. In case you guys didn't see that fact, my profile picture changed. We've also got new stream stuff. I still don't know how to set up the stream overlays properly so that they move and that there's actual video playing in the stream stuff. But one day I'll figure that out and we can actually have some pretty cool streams, in which I'll probably be switching over to Twitch for that, because I think Twitch is much better for those overlays than YouTube is, unfortunately, because YouTube doesn't really want to make it work. So, haha, funny times. Yeah, that's about all. I hope you guys have been good. Peace out.
You said